Okay, so this week I had a bunch of skits I wanted to do for our number 5 slot, 1993's So I Married an Axe Murderer starring Mike Myers. But what I quickly realized is that I just wasn't as funny as Mike Myers. Well, not as funny as Mike Myers in the 1990s, because in the new century, anyone's as funny as Mike Myers. So what I decided was that I wanted to use this time as a plea to Mike. If you're out there, please come back to us. You've been missing since 1997 when you did the first Austin Powers. We loved you in the 90s. You gave us Wayne's World, you gave us So I Married an Axe Murderer, Austin Powers, a lot of good years on Saturday Night Live. And we just don't know where you've gone. I don't know who's handing you scripts like A Love Guru and Cat in the Hat, but please stop. You're shattering all the dreams I had as a child. And if you have any goodness left in your heart, please come back to making good movies. We miss you, Mike. We really, really miss you. Okay, so at number 4 is the 1968 film Bullet, starring Steve McQueen.
It's bullshit.
Mr. McQueen, I'm so sorry. If there was a misunderstanding, if there's anything I can do, just let me know. I'm sorry. We can fix this.
Get the hell out of here now.
No, you're right. I should leave. I'm sorry. I messed up. I'll go. We'll finish this later. Alright, so this is a couple of shots I took around the city of Bullet scenes. Clay and Taylor is where he lived, and right across the street is the little market that's still there that he goes and get his groceries in. I think it'd be kind of cool to know that you live in the house that Steve McQueen lived in. I mean, he didn't live, or that he acted in. I'd feel badass. I'd probably only wear blue turtlenecks and blazers for the rest of my life. We're actually pretty lucky that we got this movie. Originally, the movie was set in Boston, and there was no car chase to speak of. But when they brought on a new producer, he convinced them to change the location out west and add the chase scene. And every douchebag you knew in high school was trying to do the reverse burnout that he does in this movie. It was actually completely unintentional. He missed his turn, but it made it through editing. So all of this is what I got when I typed in Dirty Harry Clint Eastwood impersonation. So you better check them out. Mine's really, really bad. What's your best Clint Eastwood impersonation? Punk. So it's rumored that Dirty Harry had pretty much every A-list leading man signed to it at some point, or at least it got into the hands of these leading men. The original concept was pitched as a John Wayne movie. Burt Lancaster was signed on for a little while, Paul Newman, Steve McQueen, Frank Sinatra, but all these leading actors at the time thought it was way too violent. So that's where Clint Eastwood stepped in and took the role, and it really led the standard for gritty police movies for the next decade or so. This number 2 movie has a couple similarities with Bullet that we talked about earlier.
It's bullshit.
First off, they decided not to put a car chase in this movie because it was set in San Francisco and Bullet had set the standard so high. It still kind of remains the standard for great car chases. Also, Clint Eastwood, like Steve McQueen, loosely based his character off of David Toschi, who was the leading detective on the Zodiac killings. So here at number 1 this week for movies best set in San Francisco is the 1941 classic, The Maltese Falcon. One of the reasons this movie is number 1 is it basically is set in my neighborhood of Lower Nob Hill. You have the Stockton Tunnel, you have Geary, you have Hyde Street, you have, he lives on Bush Street, you see Pine. So all of my local blocks are in this movie. So on a personal level, it's just fun to watch. So on a more serious note though, or on a more cinematic note, this movie was originally adapted from the famous Dashiell Hammett film. So up here you're going to see, just a couple blocks from where I live is Dashiell Hammett Avenue. So we're going to have a little video clip of that. The movie was directed by John Huston. Now if you don't know who John Huston is, go to your Netflix queue and just start downloading everything you can from him. This was his directorial debut. He went on to work with Humphrey Bogart on Treasures of the Sierra Madre, Key Largo, and The African Queen. And you guys might know him from one of my other favorite movies, Chinatown, where he plays Noah Cross. So check that movie out for sure because it's a classic. What sets The Maltese Falcon apart from other movies, not just movies based in San Francisco, but movies in general, is that it's a movie that establishes it's not important what the characters are looking for. What's important is their obsessions. What's important is their drive to get what they want. It could be anything. It could be a ping pong ball, as long as all the characters want it and are willing to do anything for it. That's what makes a movie dramatic. Not that it's, Ben Franklin's binoculars are the greatest treasure of all time. That's just a payoff at the end to kind of wrap things up, that they all get to go home wealthy. But that's not what we're sitting watching the movie for. Nobody's watching to see the treasure. They're watching to see what everyone will do to get the treasure. And The Maltese Falcon was one of the very first movies to establish that. Filming for this movie only took 2 months, and it only cost $300,000. AFI ranks it as its #6 greatest mystery film of all time. Alright, so there was our top 5 best movies set in San Francisco. All of which are actually cop movies. I didn't realize that going in, but as I looked at them, they all have that same commonality. At number 5, Mike Myers' character is best friends with a cop. Alan Arkin is the police chief. At number 4, you have Steve McQueen in Bullet. Number 3, James Stewart plays a police detective in Vertigo. At number 2, Dirty Harry Callahan, Clint Eastwood in Dirty Harry. And at number 1, Sam Spade is an ex-cop, PI, in The Maltese Falcon. Hope you guys enjoy.
Get the hell out of here now.